up, guys? This is DrVic, and you're listening to The Mindful Experiment. Man, if you live in the States, what an interesting time it is to be here. We're going through a presidential election. We all know it wasn't going to end the next day. Normally in the evening, it's already confirmed. We're looking at who knows. But the message I wanted to share today is something I've shared consistent on this podcast. It's something that I have talked a lot about. I've wrote it in my books, and I've always talked about how no matter what happens in your external world, you always have a choice. You always have something to create. You can always have something to do. Circumstances may change. You just have to adapt, right? And adaptability is the biggest keystone to life. I talk a lot about adaptation as a chiropractor. That's pretty much what chiropractors do, is we help individuals through the nervous system as we enhance the nervous system by helping it communicate better, returning it back to having less interference. What ends up happening is the body, because the nervous system controls everything, allows the body to adapt better to any situation, circumstance, and so forth. It also allows you to see things better so you can figure out how you're going to grow, adapt, evolve in any situation. And it helps your body, health-wise and function-wise, give you the best fighting chance of whatever it is that you have to deal with. Now, what does adaptation mean? Well, it could be COVID. It could be financial hardships, marital stress. It could be mental, physical health, anything. It helps you adapt better. And in life, you have to understand that, like, how to adapt, right? A lot of times when things don't go the way we want, we resist, we shut down. We don't really say, hold on here, how can this help me? Instead, it's, this is what I wanted, I didn't get it, and here's my reaction. And a lot of times you'll see people, especially in politics and other certain type of heated subjects, they have knee-jerk reactions, right? Instead of sitting there and listening and taking a moment to really listen and understand where the other person's coming from, we kind of already put a label, we assume, and we do that because we're too mental, right? We've become too mental as a society. And you hear me talk a lot about the mind. You've heard me in this podcast before. And it's one of those things where we have to really just take a moment here and understand that, well, how do I adapt then, right? I'm going to adapt. My body's going to adapt. I'm going to adapt. I can choose to adapt one way, down a negative path, or I can choose to adapt in a positive manner where I can drastically choose my reality in whatever way I choose. Now, you have to understand that this is true. It's not a woo-woo science or anything out there, or just a theory that we just think is cool. There's a lot of science that backs that up. And so if you're listening and you're in the United States, it's one of the things where it doesn't matter who's president. At the end of the day, yeah, it may have a small, slight margin of a percentage how it affects your life, but at the end of the day, it's still you. And whether matter what country you're listening from this, it's the same thing. You can blame parents. You can blame X, Y, Z, right? Victim mentality. It's something that we do a lot that I see in America where it's all about, well, I'm like, this is how my life is because of X, Y, Z. It's because of these obstacles, because of these circumstances, because of the ethnicity I grew up in, or it's because of the town I grew up in, or parents didn't have money. I mean, I can go on and on. There's endless excuses. I think that's the thing about life. There is never an end to excuses, right? There's just never an end. You can have endless, unlimited excuses, but there's limited action. Not a lot of people choose action and do something, right? Commit, go, and create action from there. And so when we look at our life, when we look at the external world, always know it's what matters inside. Always know it matters where your mind's at, how you're seeing it, and how you look at things. We have I was invited, and you guys can find the link in the show notes, to speak at an event, a virtual event online called Spirit-Duality. I highly recommend register, go. You got amazing speakers from across three countries, and what they do is we share our personal story, our spiritual journey of our life and how we got to where we are and the ups and downs and what it meant for us and all the beauty behind that. And then if you really like it, you can go ahead and there's a paid portion towards for the weekend, and you get to actually get workshops from the speakers. I was selected to be one of those, where I'll be sharing a workshop on a lot of the stuff we're talking about here, and really getting into quantum physics, the neuroscience, understanding the depths of how this stuff really works. And so you can check the show notes, get that, go register. It's November 14th is when it starts. So make sure you get your tickets now. Don't waste time. But it's one of the things where you get to choose your outcome. You get to choose how you want to experience that. And it's that perspective in your life that you have to look at. No matter what happens on the external world, it's all about the internal world. It's how I see it. It's how I'm going to take this, how I'm going to learn from this, how I'm going to adapt from this. If it struggles time, if we're going to go through some lean months or some hard times in something, no worries. I'm going to adapt and I'm going to evolve. I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow. When you have that growth mindset, we've done podcasts on this before. We actually interviewed a few experts on our podcast also. Growth mindset never sees things as a fixation. It may get a little worried on things, but it always looks for the growth side of things, not the fixed doom and gloom side, right? The more fixed mind you have, the more you have more of a closed mind, tunnel vision, the more there's doom and gloom in life. When you have more of a growth mindset, you don't worry about the shortcomings or this or that. You look at it and say, okay, well, I'm going to continue growing. I'm going to continue learning. I'm going to continue this. And there was a quote I heard from a speaker one time that I loved. And he was talking about his experience of when he invests his money. And he was like, because I invest money and I hate when I lose money, but it happens. It does more often than I like to admit. But you get those moments where things will balance and you get those big wins and you're like, wow, that was worth all those little losses here. And it's one of the things where he said that when I lose money, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I just look at it as tuition of life. And I was like, genius. I'm taking that. Because I think it's really cool. I think that's an awesome concept. It's a different perspective, right? You know, I'm all about mindset. I'm always looking for new gems, new things, different ways to how to shift perspective a little easier. And so if, you know, when it comes to certain things in your life, understand that no matter what it is, it's called the tuition of life. It could be loss of time, right? You think you wasted time somewhere, or you had a shortcoming here, or maybe they win the championship in sports, or maybe you didn't do well on that grade in school, or maybe the kids are not just gelling the way you want them to. That's okay. It's called the tuition of life. And we're always paying that one way or another. But the beauty of that, what I love about the school of life, is that anytime you pay, you gain experiences. No matter whether you want to accept the experience or not, you're going to gain an experience which is going to help you evolve as a soul and help you expand and evolve the individual that you want to be to experience the life that you want to have or create the life that you want to have. It'll help you attune the vibration to align more to that. And I always think sometimes, you know, it's like, think of it this way. You're always going to have the strikes. You're always going to have, what I mean by strikes is, if you think of like a tuning fork, you have to strike the tuning fork to create a vibration. So think of the struggles of hardship, think of the hard times, or think of the things that you deal with in life, whatever that challenge is, whatever the darkness is, whatever the obstacle is, whatever you go through in life, always think of it as a striking of the tuning fork. Visualize a tuning fork in your head. The reason why I say striking of it, because it has to hit a certain frequency, right? And so you're striking it every time to that frequency, right? And eventually, when you're vibing at that frequency of what you want to experience, boom, snap the fingers, you're there. Your manifestation power is absolutely through the roof. You become a massively strong magnet for what it is you desire, what it is you want to experience, and it's a beautiful thing to do. You just have to be patient, trust, and have the faith to know what's going to happen. So regardless, if you are in the United States, take a deep breath. Doesn't matter who's going to be president. What matters is you at the end of the day and how you're going to adapt to whatever may show up, okay? And for other countries, if you're listening to this from other countries, it doesn't matter anything in your life. You always have an opportunity to adapt. And you always got an opportunity, which is even more important, to choose how you want that to be. And what I mean by choose is actually like watching Netflix or Hulu or anything online, and you just click the button and all of a sudden the TV pops up the movie. You can choose by clicking just like that for the reality you want to experience. And that is something, if you want to learn more about, sign up for the Spirit-Duality. Link is in the bio. Get there, check it out, and so much more. One last thing I want to share with you guys before we end. We are launching our Life Mastery online class. Yes, Life mastery is coming to a reality. This is all about life. It's all about mastering life. I am going to share much more in depth of how you choose. I'm going to talk about different aspects of how to create a life of what you desire. And starting from the mind, using spiritual laws, universal laws, quantum physics, and neuroscience to support all that and allow you to really create a life of what it is you desire. I've done a class similar to this in the past, and it was raving reviews. Now we've modified it, we revamped it, we changed the curriculum, the focus, because it was doing good, but it wasn't great. And I like greatness. And so now we've created it's a 5-module course. You get 1 module every week, and you will have the access to experience and understand all about life mastery. And I will share with you guys everything in the last 10 years in this course. And right now we are offering massive bonuses when it comes to this. You get my books, Rediscover Your Greatness. You get A Walk in the Dark. You get The Power of Visualization, all ebooks, okay? Then you get, for the Rediscover Your Greatness and A Walk in the Dark, you also get the audiobook on there, on the app, and you'll also have access to my podcast episodes that I did on those chapters of the book, so you hear a little bit of a personal touch with it all. There are more bonuses than that. We got 2 guided meditations, 2 breathwork sessions, unlimited email marketing, so much more. I don't want to bore you with all the details. It's in the link below. Click on it if you're interested. Go ahead. If this sounds right to you, register, sign up. We are going to be launching in about 2 weeks, and then it's open to the public at any time you can register. Right now, we're just fine-tuning some of the curriculum and cleaning up, but we're starting to market. So check it out. I want to appreciate you guys. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe. It really helps out the podcast, really helps to get the message out there. If you really were inspired by this and you felt this was moving or it touched you in some way, pay it forward by sharing with someone you know. And as always, if you've been a subscriber and been listening, my gratitude and appreciation to you. Until next time, keep rocking and rolling.